Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu rasulillah, wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa man sara ala sabilihi ila yawmiddin, amma ba'd. So in continuing discussing this topic regarding at-tariq al-tashri' that refer to as the history of the Sharia as to how it developed and also the evolution of the Sharia by way of the Sharia. So in the last lesson or session that we had discussed concerning outline concerning matters regarding at-tashri', matters regarding legislation in the time of the Prophet ﷺ. So we had discussed concerning that matter was concerning that it was the pinnacle regarding concerning matters relating to at-tashri'. So we had discussed concerning this matter that it lasts for over 23 years, and that 23 years it can be divided into two areas or two periods regarding concerning the Mecca period, with the first 13 years after the Prophet ﷺ was commissioned as a prophet. So most of that time that it was spent regarding matters relating to focus was regarding matters concerning Iman, matters regarding certain doing certain things in contrary to the way of the kuffar, regarding concerning the matters regarding ashirk and the likes, and also the Muslim concerning his akhlaq and his general dealings and conduct. Few matters were discussed concerning matter that relates to ahkam al-fiqhiyya regarding halal and haram. So of those ibadat that was legislated during that time, or the conception of that started with the matters regarding as-salat. So salat was of the ibadat that started during that time of while they were still in Mecca after Isra wal Mi'raj. Then it continued to and after moving to from Mecca to Medina, with the Prophet ﷺ that he reside, that regarding concern the ahkam, then they start to go into more detail regarding matters relating to ahkam, regarding halal and haram, regarding matters relating to ibadat. So it was more given a more detailed legislation was matter more detailed came regarding those matters. Then of those things that we discussed also regarding that of those times that the main source of Islamic Sharia during the time of the Prophet ﷺ, that was one, the Quran. And also we discussed the Quran, that it was recorded, or there was recordings that were made during that time of the Prophet ﷺ while he was alive. Also second, regarding the matter regarding the Sunnah, also was a source of Islam during then, and that without any dispute, that was without any dispute from any of the Muslim then. So and then also mention the third regarding concerning ijtihad of the Prophet ﷺ. So certain matters where the Prophet ﷺ may have give his own ijtihad on those matters, but then those matters will formulate a part of the Sunnah. Also concerning matters that relates to also some of the ijtihad of some of the Sahaba, where they make their own independent matter in their rulings on certain matters, or based upon certain instruction that was given, that the way that they try to apply those things, they gave their own thoughts and those matters and application to those matters. Then some of those matters, the Prophet ﷺ would have agreed with some of those matters or give consent to some of those matters. So those matters will be included by way of the Sunnah. So that's concerning as for matters regarding ijma as a source during the time of the Prophet ﷺ. Then as the ulama have clarified, that was not the case concerning ijma, was not per se an independent source then, and was not a source that was used then, as the Prophet ﷺ was the source regarding him receiving revelation by way of the Quran and also by way of the Sunnah. So that was the main sources regarding those matters. Also, as we mentioned, that some of the Sahaba also that they had some recording of ahadith. So you have certain recordings regarding ahadith also was done during that time. So after discussing that matter, that will end and just add regarding concerning, as we mentioned, concerning that Asr and Nabuwa, that will end regarding of those points, that this final point regarding concerning what have been mentioned regarding concerning khasa'is at-tashri' fi ahd al-nabuwa. So we discussed concerning, mention a few points regarding, just to add to what was mentioned regarding ahd al-nabuwa or asr al-nabuwa. We discussed khasa'is at-tashri' concerning matter that was specific regarding at-tashri' during the time of the Prophet ﷺ. So as for that matter, we discussed concerning one of those things that was somewhat regarding concerning tashri' legislation during that time. The first thing concerning tadarruj fi tashri', regarding tadarruj fi tashri', regarding matter relating that things were done on a gradual basis regarding at-tashri'. So it was not everything, all the laws were not revealed in one go, but rather it was not done by tadarrud, which is by way of things being done on a stage by stage basis or a part basis regarding, or a gradual basis regarding the tashri' or the laws of Islam. So that's one of those matters that was present then. Also, we're making things easy for the Muslim to kind of somewhat gradually learning the rules of Islam, so that aided in that. Second of those things that were specific or particular to that time regarding of the khasa'is, that matters concerning an-naskh. So regarding concerning that also in the Quran and also in the Sunnah, that we might find cases and that regarding concerning matter that relates to things being abrogated to certain matters initially when they were revealed. That was the practice then, but later on it was changed. So that concerning an-naskh, where things were somewhat things were changed by way of the one who was Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the Prophet Islam, that of certain matters that they would have applied it in a particular way, but then later on those matters would have changed. So regarding concerning matters regarding salah, that initially out was, and then what became after, some of those things that they changed. So that's concerning of those matters regarding things being abrogated, or certain things being abrogated, whether in full or in portion. Also regarding concerning the third of those things that was of the khasais of those time, regarding that waqa'iyya at-tashri', regarding that waqa'iyya at-tashri', regarding concerning waqa'iyya at-tashri', concerning waqa'iyya at-tashri', by way of meaning concerning that during that time, regarding that the legislation, that it was not based upon things were just theoretical things, but concerning tashri' was based upon practical things that was taking place then. So regarding concerning that matters that was not per se just mere ideas that was being thrown out, but rather concerning things that needed to be clarified, so that of those things regarding that time. So matters being where issues and situations that arise with the Sahaba or during that time, and the legislation will come to clarify those matters and to give the correct position regarding all those things to be carried out, or to give somewhat clarification regarding matters that relates to some of the things that clarifying regarding the belief system that was prevalent then, but also based upon what was false. So concerning at-tashri' and wahi came to clarify those matters. And also they mentioned regarding the fourth of those things that were particular during the time of the Prophet ﷺ regarding legislation or tashri', regarding concerning that everything was made, that the legislation was completed. So regarding concerning at-tashri', regarding concerning that matters regarding Islamic law and legislation, that everything was completed by the death of the Prophet ﷺ. So by time of his death, everything was somewhat laid out regarding halal and haram. So regarding all those things that the Sharia wished to cover, all those things were covered and clarified regarding at-tashri'. So as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned, Al-yawma akmaltu lakum dinakum. So today I've completed and perfected the religion. Wa atmamtu alaykum ni'mati, and I've completed my favor upon you. Raditu lakum Islam dina, and that we have chosen Islam as your religion, as in Surah Al-Ma'idah. So by then it shows that regarding concerning revelation and tashri', it was completed before the death of the Prophet ﷺ. So that shows concerning that those things that need to be covered, that they were covered, and those things that need to be clarified, that they were clarified. So the principles or clear detail on certain, all those things were covered before the death of the Prophet ﷺ. So that being the case, then we move now into what is the next stage regarding concerning al-fiqh or tariq al-fiqh. So regarding concerning the next stage regarding tariq al-fiqh, that will lead now to the next stage, which is al-fiqh or tariq al-fiqh fi asr al-sahaba. So fiqh fi asr al-sahaba. So regarding fiqh in the time of the Sahaba. So with this, so regarding this time period of the Sahaba, that first regarding concerning who's a Sahaba. So first regarding a Sahaba, as ulama clarify regarding that the Sahaba, man laqi Nabi al-Islam, the one who have met the Prophet Islam, yu'min bihi, and believe in him, wa mata ala Islam, and he died upon Islam. So the Sahaba, they are described, which is mean the similar, which be the singular. A Sahabi is the one who met the Prophet Islam, believed in him, and died upon Islam. So that's concerning a person who stated to be, who is classified to be a Sahaba. The person met the Prophet Islam, whether it's for a short or for a long period of time. Also, second, that the person also that he believed in his message of Islam, and also during that time also the person that upon death he died upon Islam. The person died upon Islam. If he a person who fulfill these three criteria, then they're said to be a Sahabi. Then we mention the next thing regarding Asr Sahaba. So regarding concerning for this time period we're discussing, that regarding concerning fiqh in the time of the Asr Sahaba, by way of from time of the death of the Prophet Islam, which would be the 11th year of the Hijrah, until the end of the Khalifat of Ali ibn Abi Talib. So upon concerning the time of the Khulafa al-Rashid, which would be the 40th year of the Hijrah. So from the time of the death of the Prophet Islam up until the 40th year of the Hijrah, then this will be the era that is considered to be Asr Sahaba regarding al-fiqh. By way of one, majority of the Sahaba were present then during that time. Also regarding concern, let's note that the Sahaba, that also they are the ones who are involved concerning teaching the Muslim regarding Islam, and that they were involved regarding concerning the day-to-day affairs regarding the Muslim community in general. So regarding concerning the next matter, which will be the second matter, so after that introduction regarding who's a Sahabi and what time period we're discussing, then the next matter that we're discussing concerning will be concerning that the time period regarding concerning that, the next matter regarding concerning that, also the ulama that they take regarding concerning the Asr Sahaba, the year of the Sahaba anhu regarding in the history of fiqh, they mention it now, يعتبر هذا عصر امتدادا لأسر الرسول عليه السلام, that this also is considered to be that an extension, the time of the Sahaba that we mentioned, it will be considered an extension of the time of the Prophet Islam. By way of concern, the Sahaba, the Prophet Islam can somewhat that also he have given advice and encourage regarding concern the Muslim, that also he take into account that period which is mentioned as included a part of the Sunnah. Where the Prophet Islam concerning the hadith where he mentioned, the hadith of Ibad ibn Sa'd that he mentioned, alaykum bi sunnati, that for you to owe to my sunnah, wa sunnatul khulafa al-rashidin al-mahdiyin min ba'di, that also that you owed and stick to the sunnah, the way of the khulafa al-rashidin al-mahdiyin. So it shows regarding that the time of Sahaba, and in this time period regarding the khulafa, that also is an extension of the time of the Prophet Islam regarding concerning, and I mentioned عضو عليها بالنواجذ, that also mentioned in the hadith that you should owe to this with your molar teeth. And this hadith that it is mentioned by many, amongst them at-Tirmidhi and others, and at-Tirmidhi rahimahullah all the hadith, and Abu Dawood wa Ibn Majah, with Tirmidhi rahimahullah called hadith concerning hadith Hasan al-Sahih, hadith Hasan al-Sahih. So that's concerning that hadith can somewhat encourage regarding concerning a Muslim that he owed to those things that were during the time of the Sahaba. At the Prophet Islam, he praised them regarding that time period, and also he commanded us that we should hold to their ways. And the reason of this is because of one, that the Asr Sahaba, that is considered to be a time regarding that they went into explain in detail, in further detail regarding matters concerning at-Tashri'ah. So regarding concerning Islamic, and also that during that time the Sahaba that they went on to explain many of the sources concerning the Quran and the Sunnah. So they went into detail in explaining certain things further for the Muslim during that time. Also they were involved regarding istinbat, also regarding that also for them extracting rulings from the sources of the Quran and the Sunnah. And also we discussed concerning also that they went further into the bab of ijtihad, regarding concerning bab of ijtihad, and also established regarding the principle regarding an ijma. So regarding concerning the principle of ijma, also they established that principle regarding al-ijma, consensus between themselves, and which became a principle that was followed after and became a source of Islamic law regarding al-ijma. So they mentioned so the next of those matters regarding concerning the time of Sahaba anhu, that also regarding that the sources that they rely upon the ref and inayat Sahaba bil al-wahyayn, that the Sahaba, that of those things that they put a lot of emphasis regarding al-wahyayn, regarding al-Quran, the Sunnah. So regarding concern that time regarding fiqh, that it served concern the companions that they give a lot of attention, and regarding referring back to the Quran and the Sunnah as a source of Islamic law, or regarding Islamic al-fiqh. So and this is it is very clear regarding concerning that the approach that the companions had regarding the Quran and the Sunnah. So an example of these that I mentioned regarding the Quran, by way of the Sahaba, that as mentioned before, that the Quran was recorded, but not recorded, but with different individuals among the Sahaba who have recorded portion of the Quran. So during that time, the Sahaba, anhu, that they put emphasis regarding one, still memorizing the Quran, also understanding and learning the Quran, and taking ahkam from the Quran and acting according to the Quran. So the Sahaba give a lot of emphasis regarding hifz al-Quran, second, understanding the Quran, and also third, acting according to the Quran. So so regarding that matter, it is stated regarding concerning that Abu Abdurrahman al-Sulami that died in 84 or 74 al-Hijri قال إننا أخذنا هذا القرآن عن قوم أخبرنا أنهم كانوا إذا تعلموا 10 آيات لم يتجاوزوهن إلى 10 أخرى حتى يعملون ما فيهن. So it mentioned regarding the statement of Abu Abdurrahman al-Sulami, who died the year 74 al-Hijri, that he mentioned إننا أخذنا هذا القرآن, that we took this Quran and قوم from a group أخبرنا أنهم كانوا, that they inform us that whenever they would study 10 ayat from the Quran, they would not go to the next 10 until they يعلمون ما فيهن, until they knew fully what were contained in these verses. وعمل به وكنا نتعلم القرآن وعمل به. They mentioned that we used to study the Quran and also act according to it. So that's concerning, it showed that the Sahaba, that during that time, that this was their approach, that they would study the verse of the Quran and they would not go beyond these verses until they have extracted and understood it very well and also acted upon it, then they'll move on. That's concerning the approach that they have and the emphasis that they gave regarding the Quran. Also during that time regarding the Quran, that was the time regarding the Sahaba, that after the death of the Prophet Islam, that they started to, that they gathered the Quran from the time of Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, and then they made the Quran, and before his death, the Quran that was gathered, as the Quran all written, recorded, all completely, fully, that then it was left with Hafsa, and then it was mentioned that after, in the time of Uthman ibn Affan, then the Quran also, it was a copy, it was made, a copy of the Quran was copied as commissioned by Uthman, commanded some of the companions to do of this task, and then they made other copies that was spread amongst the Muslim countries. So that's concerned that so one master or some copies were made from the copies that were available in the time with Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, and then Uthman commissioned of the companions for them to make copies of these, and then these copies to be spread amongst the Muslim as the master copy of the Quran, so as to remove any form of differences that anyone may bring about regarding the Quran. So that's concerning those efforts during the time of the Quran, regarding the Quran. Also regarding concerning that second is that also the Sahaba, that they place also emphasis regarding the Sunnah. So these being the primary sources of Tashri'. So being the primary source, and also regarding al-Fiqh, regarding how to understand Islam, that the Quran and the Sunnah became primary sources. So by this they give attention to the Sunnah of the Prophet Islam by way of memorizing the Hadith, still so holding the Hadith by way of memory, and also understanding. So this was something that was present amongst the Sahaba. So giving emphasis regarding the Sunnah, by way of the Sunnah, was memorized and also acted upon. Memorized, studied, and acted upon. So, and that any matter of difference that came amongst his companion, that if anything was mentioned by way of the Quran, the Sunnah, then that would be given precedent. So that became of those. So they still uphold that these two sources, the Quran and the Sunnah, that they are the primary source regarding al-fiqh. So they mentioned regarding concerning of those things also. So that's concerning as primary sources of fiqh, the Quran and the Sunnah still stand with the companions. And there was no dispute amongst the companions regarding Hujjiyatu al-Quran wa Sunnah. So there was no, and there was never been a dispute between the Quran, the Sahaba regarding the Hujjiyat, the Quran being a source of proof. That amongst the Sahaba, and there was Salat became something that was agreed upon between the Sahaba. Of anything you might find case that we discuss concerning may differ regarding understanding certain texts, or second, that they may differ of a slight difference regarding if a matter regarding concerning that sabuted sunnah, regarding confirming whether that matter regarding the sunnah, it was something that was confirmed. So you might have some discussion regarding some of them on those points, but they all agreed regarding the Quran, the Sunnah being a source of Islam and also a proof in Islam. So regarding concerning the companions, that regarding concerning that tashri' of those things that they had to face and to deal with, one, the companions, that they had that fear regarding the Quran being lost, so they put emphasis regarding the Quran being collected and gathered and be recorded. And as we had mentioned, that it was done in the time of Abu Bakr Siddiq, then also in the time of Uthman, in gathering the Quran and the Quran being recorded. And that serves as the main source of Islamic law, or one of the main sources of Islamic law. Second of those concern that they had during the time of the companions also, that they fear regarding concern that the Muslims start to have difference regarding the source of the Quran, regarding concerning that as you might so that gathering the Quran and writing the Quran as one source and then being placed in different cities, because of the Muslim empire start to expand, and you might find, and they found that some of the new those who accepted Islam may have some slight difference in what was established from before. So they put emphasis regarding the Quran being recorded. Then also of those things, so no difference arise regarding the Quran itself. Also, they had a fear and a concern regarding that people also starting to lie about the Sunnah. So people giving incorrect narration regarding the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. So also they were keen on that area. Also that they were keen also regarding the area, and had great concern regarding concerning that a Muslim being misguided by way of concern that the way that they approach Islam, they start to approach Islam contrary to the way that was expected, which is concerning that so having the correct approach regarding understanding Islam, also they were very concerned about this. So eventually start to accept regarding the companions being the ones to teach and to educate the Muslim, so as for the Muslim not to adopt wrong understanding of the Quran or of the source of Islam. And then also they concern also regarding that the Sahaba also were the one who led regarding concerning that mushkilat al-hayat, regarding concerning matters that the people face in their day-to-day lives, that are also the Sahaba, that they will kind of somewhat bring about concerning that ways to resolve those matters and pass judgment on those matters taken from the Quran, the Sunnah, and other sources of Islam. So the Sahaba, they were involved regarding giving solutions to the problems that the Muslims face during that time, regarding concerning matters regarding al-halal and haram and other matters. So and those sources, and you will use as primary source regarding the Quran, the Sunnah, and the likes. So that's concerning those things that the companion they face and they try and that they dealt with. So as we mentioned first, the Sunnah, the Quran being recorded and be collected, then also the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ also being collected and being transmitted from one companion to another and to the people. So they mentioned the Quran that during that time concerning that effort was made regarding collecting of the Sunnah. So regarding concerning some efforts were made regarding some of the companions regarding having their own collection of the Sunnah recorded. Then the next stage regarding concerning that matter that they discuss regarding concerning that with the Sahaba, that as mentioned that with the Sunnah, that it will be a primary source with the companions, that they were willing to leave away their opinions when the Sunnah became clear as to that particular matter. And of those evidences to prove that concern the hadith of Abu Sa'id al-Khudri regarding concerning the case concerning Abu Musa al-Ash'ari. So regarding concerning the hadith of Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, that Abu Musa al-Ash'ari, that he sought permission from Omar 3 times. Then he was not given by Omar. So he turned back. So he sought permission 3 times from Umar al-Khattab. Umar did not respond to his seeking permission, so he left. Then Umar went after him. So Umar, well, after he left, Umar anhu, that he went after him. Then he asked him concerning, now, why did you return? Ma sha'nuk? Raja'ta, why did you return back? Then he mentioned that, I heard the Prophet ﷺ mention concerning that. Man ista'dana salatan. Then Abu Sa'id, then he mentioned that, Abu Musa, then if the person seek permission, he said, I heard from the Prophet ﷺ, call, man ista'dan thalathan, the one who seek permission 3 times. وَلَمْ يَأْذِنْ لَهُ, and he was not given permission. فَلْيَرْجَ, then he should return. So he should return. Then after this, when Omar heard that, and Omar kind of somewhat then, he submitted to this. Omar then he accepted this. So he admitted this matter regarding concerning what he was told by regarding this matter. Showing concern the Sahaba that if a matter they were not aware of and they became aware of it, then immediately they'll accept it by way of the Sunnah. And Omar didn't per se, so that shows concern the companions that they gave Hujjiyah, they gave the Sunnah that it was an authority regarding legislation. And you find other cases like that. The next of those things that the Sahaba, so the Sunnah, that they use as a source regarding the kind of ijtihadat. So regarding concerning ijtihad, that also became a source that was also used among the Sahaba. So ijtihad regarding al-fiqh, al-Islam among the Sahaba, that as matters start to arise, then they will refer back to the Quran, to the Sunnah, in trying to resolve those matters. So they will make, they'll have ijtihad, that they'll try to understand the text in light of the issues that they were facing. So understanding those issues that they were facing in light of the Quran, the Sunnah. So that became of those things that the Sahaba that they use, and also at times they'll make also al-istishhar, that also that they'll gather and seek to consult amongst themselves on a matter. So that sometimes they'll consult amongst a matter on a particular on a matter that they faced then. So that's concerning how the companions approach concerning al-fiqh. So of the system of fiqh that apply by the companions, ijtihad by way of matters that were newly faced matters, that they'll look at it in light of the Quran, the Sunnah, and at times those new matters they'll also gather amongst themselves and try to seek a solution from regarding those matters. So at times they may agree upon a matter, and that became al-ijma. So at times they may agree upon a matter, and that will form of the al-ijma amongst the Sahaba. So you have cases like those regarding the matter. So ijtihad of the Sahaba, it will fall into the following areas. One, ijtihad fi fahm an-nas or nusus. So at times the Sahaba may have ijtihad regarding how they go about understanding the text. So they have the text, so they'll have ijtihad, they'll see how to understand the text. So you might find that this may occur amongst some of the Sahaba. So you might, for example, kalala in the Quran, where Abu Bakr can somewhat discuss as to what is this, or what is meant by this. So that type of ijtihad, or put forth some ideas, either from a linguistic meaning, or how they believed what they thought was intended. So the Sahaba having ijtihad regarding understanding the text. So the text is there, but how to understand the text, they might have ijtihad at times on that matter. Second of the area of ijtihad, fi istinbat min al-nusus, regarding how to extract from the text. So they might have the text, then how to extract the intended meaning, that at times also they will have ijtihad in those areas. So they'll look into those matters and see as to what is the intended meaning or ruling that can be taken from that text. Third of those areas regarding ijtihad fi istikhraj al-ahkam fima la nassa fi. Also at times regarding that there's no text. So they find a matter that they have to look into. There's no explicit text on that matter. So they'll kind of somewhat try then to come to a ruling based upon that matter, based upon where that matter hasn't been spoken of. So they might also have ijtihad on those matters. And I mentioned regarding ijtihad on those matters, we define for example, the case concerning Uthman with the adhan. Uthman adding that adhan for Yawm al-Jum'ah. So there was only one adhan before the khutbah in the time of the Prophet ﷺ. By the time of Uthman, he added a second adhan based upon the community somewhat have expanded, and he wanted for the people to end, so he added a second adhan based upon his ijtihad with some of the companions present along with him. So that's to show concern that matter, that ijtihad from the Sahaba regarding applying that second adhan on Yawm al-Jum'ah. Also regarding areas regarding ijtihad of the Sahaba regarding concerning fi tanzil al-ahkam al-waqa'iyah. So regarding concerning now how to apply is the ruling on certain situation that arise then. So that's considered of those things that they also looked into and had to deal with. So you find that matters that may be new, that they wish now to come to a ruling, so they have to now look into those matters because it was a new matter that was not discussed explicitly regarding before. So they're going to somewhat try to make ijtihad regarding those matters. So that's concerning Sahaba regarding ijtihad regarding certain matters. So by this, the ijtihad of Sahaba, that you might find that the approach that was used or followed by some of the Sahaba, they fell into two groups. So by this concerning ijtihad of Sahaba, that you might find that they had two approaches in general regarding the approach of the Sahaba, regarding how they approach concerning matters of ijtihad. They fall into two camps or two approaches. First of those, regarding concerning مال الفريق منهم إلى اجتهاد بالرأي, that some of the companions that they can somewhat incline to use at times the ijtihad بالرأي. So matters that there was no clear explicit text on those matters, then try to make ijtihad based upon the rules of ijtihad. So that's of one of the groups that they all apply ijtihad when there was no clear text on the matter. The second group are approach with the Sahaba regarding concerning مال فريق آخر إلى اختصار على نص, that they can somewhat more try to restrict themselves and stay within the nas and not to use ijtihad unnecessarily. So you find that some of the companions that they were kind of somewhat more trying to somewhat that they were a very careful approach, were not to delve into matter that there was no text for them. So not to delve too much into matter that there was no text for those matters. So we find that also matters regarding al-fatawa, they'll shy away from fatawa because of the approach was that to only try to rely mainly on text and not to rely upon al-ijtihad bi-rahy. So that's concerning the Sahaba regarding those matters, their approach regarding those matters that arise during that time. So you find regarding concerning of those who may be more inclined towards regarding the use of ijtihad by way of ra'i among the Sahaba, you find of those companions who are known for regarding fatawa. In their fatawa, that you find concerning Umar al-Khattab, of those who will use concerning al-ijtihad rahi wa nadhar in matters concerning fatawa. Also of those who may implore regarding use of al-ijtihad bi-rahi wa nadhar fi al-fatawa in matters concerning fatawa, Ubay ibn Ka'b. A third, Ibn Mas'ud, also Ali ibn Abi Talib, Zayd ibn Thabit, Ibn Abbas, and the likes. So those companions were of those who are known that in matters concerning at times will use al-ijtihad regarding al-rahi wa nadhar at times. Then as for the second group, who kind of somewhat that they were more kind of somewhat just try to stick to the text on matters, that of those who were more famous for this among the Sahaba, Abdul Rahman ibn Auf. Second, Zayd ibn Awam or Zubair ibn Awam. Third, Abu Huraira. Fourth, Abdullah ibn Umar, and others. So those are the companions. So you find that of those companions that at times some companions would use of ijtihad in matters concerning fatwa, that there was no clear text. And also you'll find other companions who that they were kind of somewhat they shy away from going outside the text of the Quran, the Sunnah, on matters that arise that they needed to look into. So with that concerns and that was said now will have some impact regarding what will come in the time of the Asr al-Tabi'in, those who came after them. They mention also with that approach concerning the companions also as a body, that you find that ikhtilaf al-sahaba fil fiqh wal ijtihad, regarding concerning that the cases regarding differences that may arise between the sahaba on matters regarding fiqh wal ijtihad. So regarding concerning cases of ijtihad and leading to differences among the sahaba, what's the situation were then. They mentioned at the time of the sahaba that the difference between them was qalila. The difference between the sahaba was still qalil. So the still concerning differences were there, but there were few, not many differences that arise amongst the sahaba. And of the reason why that there was not the level of differences amongst the sahaba were not great or many, but few, that I mentioned that of those reasons concerning that one, that salah qulubihim, regarding concerning our qasdihim, that regarding that their intent was very pure and sincere. So the sincerity of their intention fi talabat al-haq, in seeking of the truth. So if a matter arises and someone was not aware, and then a hadith was brought to his attention, then immediately he will accept the hadith and leave away what he is, whatever opinion that he had before. Also, second, husn tafaqquhim, that concern also that their good way of how they look at matters. So the way concerned their approach regarding their understanding was also very good and precise understanding. Also the companions, so those of those matters also regarding the companion that are people that have their insight, so that concerned that they have far insight into matters. And also they stick to the text. Also that they regarding the ijtihad, so they also that they stick also as closer to the text as possible, and also only go into ijtihad concerning based upon matters that arise. So based upon matters that arise, then they will look into those matters. And also of those things also that aided them a lot was that if a matter arise, that they'll consult between themselves. So the time that if a matter arise, then they will consult between themselves, and they will gather and discuss the matter and then put out a ruling based upon consultation between themselves. So those are the things that somewhat aided the Sahaba, regarding that the difference amongst them was very few, and so those are the things that aided them regarding the matter. Of the things regarding matters that arise during that time, regarding concerning differences creeping up amongst the Sahaba, as we mentioned, that was not much, and we can't that they didn't have any differences regarding matters regarding usul al-din and also qat'iyat. So regarding the mention regarding usul al-din regarding concerning matter related to i'tiqad, and also matter that relates to ibadat. We're concerned those matters that are agreed upon, that those matters concerned that constitute of the usul of the deen. So usul al-din regarding concerning things that was the fundamental belief and practice of the Muslim, they didn't agree. They did not have no difference on those matters. They had no differences on those matters. So regarding usul al-din, regarding concerning matter concerning regarding ahkam al-amaliyah, or matter regarding al-i'tiqadiyah, they had no difference on the usul of the deen. But also with this, that there were some issues that the Sahaba, they had some difference amongst themselves. So you have certain issues that they had some difference amongst themselves. So of those cases regarding the difference regarding the Sahaba, regarding concern that the woman who is pregnant, regarding concerning matters with some case concerning a divorce. So you have some different regarding certain matters regarding nafaqah for a woman who is divorced, and she's not pregnant. is any. So you have some issues of those difference between the Sahaba and those some of those matters. So some difference regarding zakat al-huli. So zakat al-huli, also a slight difference between the companions. You have two view on those matters, where they mention regarding concerning that. So difference regarding concerning that. Those are all that, yes, regarding jewelry being included, or gold jewelry being included a part of zakat, or zakat upon it or not, that they differ among the Sahaba. So on some matters you have some difference among the Sahaba. The difference that occurred between the Sahaba, some of those differences that they occurred, but then they were resolved. So you find some matter they initially had some disagreement on those matters, but then eventually those matters were resolved by way of others who were not maybe present bringing evidence to show regarding what is the ruling on that matter. So you might find cases that arise, but then the matter was eventually clarified, and so they agreed upon that view. So then also you might find matter that may arise between the companions, and that difference it continued until after and was not per se resolved. So matter that differences arise amongst the Sahaba, it was discussed, there are different opinions, and those differences is still continue up still continue. I was not per se agreed upon a particular view. A particular view it was resolved amongst them, but rather each group took their understanding, and that difference continued after the Sahaba, during their time until after the Sahaba. So of those ones regarding that difference that arise and was not resolved regarding concerning matters regarding concerning, as we mentioned, concerning that zakat being paid for jewelry, zakat upon jewelry. The Sahaba also, with the differences that arise also with the Sahaba, that we have also that the adab al-khilaf in the Sahaba. So also of those things that the Sahaba was very mindful of regarding adab al-khilaf fima bainahum. So regarding concerning the differences that are the mannerism and the conduct that they should apply between themselves when a difference arise. So when you have a difference amongst them, what are those rules and guidelines that they should uphold and follow? So you find concerning the difference among the Sahaba, that of the thing that you find that the Sahaba didn't make tabdiyah, they didn't make takfir and tafsik upon each other because of certain differences that may arise between themselves. So it is because of them following concerning clear guidelines regarding adab al-khilaf. So they're following clear guidelines regarding adab al-khilaf between themselves, which serve as a source, an example for those who came after them. So in those matters where the companions believe that yasuq fi al-khilaf, that in those matters they believe that there's a room for it regarding khilaf, then they will accept different views, and they will see that each concerned, each will hold their view to be correct without per se overly condemning the other side, by way of passing judgment on them, by being of them being people of Ahlul Bidah or the likes. So you find the companions regarding concerning fima yasuq fi al-khilaf, then will accept regarding differences between themselves. So here's where they saw that there was that room for khilaf between themselves, that they would not per se condemn the person who may hold a view opposite to the view that one side took. So they mentioned regarding that you might find matter that you find Abu Bakr and Umar and other companions made have a difference between themselves, but they didn't per se. It went where they started to chastise each other in a very brutal way. This would per se did not per se arise amongst the Sahaba, where they fall into factions and start to divide the ranks of the Muslim. So that's the thing that to be mindful of regarding that there was a room concerning adab al-khilaf between the Sahaba. And also So after the fiqh of the fuqaha, so the next matter regarding concerning the fuqaha among the sahaba. So who are those concerned that were all the companions fuqaha, or can be said to be fuqaha, or you find so are only some were said to be fuqaha. So regarding concerning this matter, the ulama have discussed concerning that not every companion is said to be the people of fatwa, or from among the ulama. So not each companions, every single companions, it can be said that he was from the fuqaha. But you find some were the fuqaha among the sahaba, and also that they will give fatawa. So on this matter, so it's, they will mention regarding concern that the ulama by this, that they have highlighted concern among the sahaba, that they place them amongst those who will give fatawa, the ulama amongst the sahaba and those who gave fatawa, that they can be fall in they fall into three groups. So among the sahaba, those who are just memorize what the hadith based upon situation what they came to know of. But then also you find that among the sahaba, those who also that they were said to be the fuqaha among the sahaba, where they memorized the hadith, understood the hadith, and also passed fatawa amongst the sahaba. Of those, but they mentioned amongst the fuqaha, or they mentioned that those who pass fatawa amongst the sahaba, that they mentioned, they put them into three categories. Mukthirun, those who gave many. Mutawassitun, those who were medium amount of fatawa. And also muqillun, and also those who gave few fatawa, meaning concerning one or two, a few fatawas. So you find that some who gave many, those who gave mutawassit, a medium level of fatawa, and those who gave just a very minimal fatawa. Then I mentioned, as for those who mentioned, and you find the likes of those that mentioned their names, of these names, we have Ibn Hazm, I mentioned the name of the Sahaba who gave fatawa, and also Ibn Qayyim and the likes. So of those names that I mentioned among the fuqaha, among the Sahaba, and those who were mukthirun, those who gave many fatawa, mukthirun min al-futya, those who gave many fatawa, amongst them Umar ibn Khattab, Ali ibn Abi Talib, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, Aisha bint Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, Abdullah ibn Abbas, Abdullah ibn Umar ibn Khattab, and Zayd ibn Thabit. So these were said to be of those ones who gave many fatawa. So this list, and again, Umar ibn Khattab, Ali ibn Abi Talib, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, Aisha bint Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, Abdullah ibn Abbas, Abdullah ibn Umar ibn Khattab, and Zayd ibn Thabit, radiyallahu anhum ajma'in. So those are the Sahaba who are known to ones who gave many fatawa. The second group of Sahaba who gave fatawa and considered to be mutawassitun, those who gave a medium level of fatawa among the Sahaba, that of that list, amongst them, that they mentioned Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, Salama, Anas ibn Malik, Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, Abu Huraira, Uthman ibn Affan, Abdullah ibn Amr ibn As, Abdullah ibn Zubair, Abu Musa al-Ashari, Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas, Salman al-Farisi, Jabir ibn Abdullah, Mu'adh ibn Jabal, Talha ibn Ubaidullah, Az-Zubair ibn Awam, Abdurrahman ibn Auf, Imran ibn Hussein, Abu Bakr, Ubadah ibn Samit, Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan. So these among the Sahaba who were known to be of those who gave a medium amount of fatawa. Then they mention regarding concerning the ones who gave just a few, concerning muqallin or muqallun, of those who gave just a few fatawas, they mentioned gave 1, 2, 3 fatawa here and there. So they gave very few fatawa. That's not narrated upon them, except they gave very few fatawa, a few here and there. Amongst those in this group would be Abu Mas'ud al-Ansari, Abu Mas'ud al-Ansari, Abu Ayyub al-Ansari, Abu Dhar, Ghifari, Abi Dhar, Ghifari, An-Nu'man ibn Bashir, Abu Bazra, Abu Barza al-Aslami, Abu Barza al-Aslami, Asma bint Abi Bakr, Asma bint Abi Bakr, Ammar ibn Yasir, Ammar ibn Yasir. So again, that those who are known to give few fatwa: Abu Mas'ud al-Ansari, Abu Ayyub al-Ansari, Abu Dhar, Abu Bazra al-Aslami, Asma bint Abi Bakr, An-Nu'man ibn Bashir, wa Ammar ibn Yasir. These are of those who gave few fatwa. Also with the Sahaba during that time, regarding al-Fiqh fi Ahd al-Sahaba, that also during that time concerns most of the Sahaba, that they were known that they reside in Medina or in Hijaz. So most of the Sahaba, that after the death of the Prophet Islam, that most of them still live within Medina and Mecca. So many of whom were in Medina. So the companions, they still remain in Medina. Then and that continued the time of Abu Bakr and Umar was very mindful regarding companions leaving Medina. But in the time of Uthman ibn Affan, in his Khilafah, then also that he gave permission for the Sahaba to start to go to different regions in the Muslim state. So he gave permission. So in the time of Umar al-Khattab, that Islam started, that he was very careful or mindful that the Sahaba not going far away. So he kept most of them, wanted most of them to stay within Medina. But in the time of Uthman ibn Affan, after the time of Uthman ibn Affan and expansion of the Muslim state and empire, that Uthman, then he started to give permission for some of the companions for them to go to other places as a way to teach the people concerning matters concerning deen. So to teach the people matters concerning deen, then he gave allowance for the companion then to start to go to different places. So from that you'll find concerning companions regarding of the place of fatwa and teaching of Islam from among the Sahaba that start to be established, and some of the main figures behind these different regions, and who were the teachers and the people gave fatwa of those concerning that fatwa revolved around them amongst the companions. They were the main source of giving fatwa in the time of the Sahaba. You have Abu Bakr as-Siddiq of the people of Medina. So in Medina, Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, Umar ibn Khattab, Uthman ibn Affan, and Ali ibn Abi Talib, Ubay ibn Qab, Zayd ibn Thabit, Aisha, wa ibn Umar. So those were the people who fatwa is centered around amongst the companions of the people of Medina. Umar, or Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, Umar, Uthman, Ali, Ubay ibn Qab, Zayd ibn Thabit, Aisha, and also Ibn Umar. So they were the main source of fatwa of the people of the ulama of the fuqaha of Medina amongst the Sahaba. Also they find in Basra, of those who were the center of fatwa in the people of Basra, Abu Musa al-Ash'ari, as he was the person in charge. He was appointed as the person in charge of Basra by Umar al-Khattab. Then eventually he moved on to Ila Kufa in the time of Uthman ibn Affan. So Abu Musa al-Ash'ari, he was initially in Basra and the person of fatwa up in that area. And also Imran ibn Hussein. So the people of Basra, the main among the Sahaba, Abu Musa al-Ash'ari for a while, and also Imran ibn Hussein. And also third, Anas ibn Malik. Amma in Sham, so greater what we call today Syria and the likes, that of those who were stationed in that area regarding amongst the Sahaba, Ubadah ibn Samit, also Mu'adh ibn Jabal, and Abi Darda, and also Abu Darda, also stationed in Asham. Another region, Al-Kufa, of those stationed there amongst the Sahaba, Ammar ibn Yasir, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud. So those were the two that were foremost among the Sahaba in that region of Kufa, Ammar ibn Yasir and also Abdullah ibn Mas'ud. Also, next, regarding those who were stationed or the main people of Fatawa among the Sahaba in Mecca, of those of Al Mecca, one, Abdullah ibn Abbas, Abdullah ibn Abbas. In Misr, in the area of Misr, what we call Egypt, we have Amr ibn As, Amr ibn As, and his son Abdullah. So we have Amr ibn As, wa Abdullah ibn Amr al-As. So father and son were the main. So those of the Sahaba who moved to different regions, and they were the ones of main focus regarding fatwa in those places. So as the Sahaba start to move out, then they start to become, and each Sahaba, so they start to be the people of focus regarding al-fatawa and teaching in those regions. So with this, so they kind of somewhat start to establish those type of madaris in those regions. So as mentioned regarding concern the Sahaba, that of those things that the Sahaba that kind of somewhat were known for regarding as masadir at-tashri', that we mentioned the Quran was Sunnah, and of those things that the Sahaba became of the main symbols that the Sahaba became known for regarding concern the Sahaba, that the main highlights of the Sahaba regarding ma'alim, or those light posts that the Sahaba kind of somewhat followed, that the Sahaba were very keen regarding talaqqa al-Islam from his main Quran, the Sunnah, and acting according to it. So Sahaba, of those things, that's the main highlights for the Sahaba, that they refer regarding concerning matter regarding al-Fiqh, that they saw as a source for the Quran, the Sunnah, and also acting according to them, to the Quran, to the Sunnah. Also the Sahaba, of those things that they distinguish them regarding اقتصار الصحابة على تشريع المبارك دون غيرها, that also they see that the source of Islam was restricted to the Quran, the Sunnah. So not person looking to other sources outside. So the Sahaba are looking to other sources outside as a way of tashri'. So tashri' was Quran, was revelation, not for them, and they did not look concerning what was taking place regarding in other faiths or in other region or from non-Muslim. They do not per se entertain taking things from others. Also of those things that the Sahaba taqdeem ashar ala rahi, that also companions that they will always give precedent to the Sharia over that of their rahi. So regarding concern the source of Islam, that he'll give precedent over their own opinions. So we mentioned before, Quran was Sunnah. They'll also consult between themselves. So those things that will give precedent to those things over that of their own opinions. Also the Sahaba, regarding concerning not following of any opinion or any personal opinion that may go against the text, not taking of any opinion that may go against the text. So you find regarding concern that say of certain cases regarding that, so you find that if any matter that arise or opinion that seems to go against the text, then they would go against that text. So you find concerning that so that was of the things that also that they the companions that they were very keen about. That individual companion may have an opinion, but it seemed to go against text, then they would not hold to those opinions that goes against text. And also ruju' and ra'i ila dalil, that also they were always the companion very keen regarding that if they had an opinion and they found the opinion was not correct or there was text, then they will go along with the text. They will always go with the text, even meant going against their own opinions. Also the Sahaba, that the Sahaba تجنب الصحابة الاختلاف والجدال. Also they try to avoid differences and disagreement amongst themselves as much as possible. So that's the reason why they have in place regarding that when a matter arises, that they will consult between each other. So they will consult between each other when a matter arises, where so that's considered of the things that distinguish the Sahabas. Also Sahaba was known concerning tathabbut, regarding concerning that also that the Sahaba, they were known regarding that to confirm matters. So sometimes a matter that that may come to a Sahabi's attention, that he didn't know about hadith before. So then he was trying to confirm the hadith or the matter. So you find, as we mentioned, the case concerning that, the case concerning Abu Musa al-Ash'ari regarding isti'dhan. So the matter concerning isti'dhan, that Umar al-Khattab was not aware of that matter. Then after the matter was clarified to him, then he accepted. So regarding an Adam Tasarru bil fatwa, also not being of those who were quick and hasty in giving fatwa, not being hasty in giving a fatwa. So of those things that they were very careful regarding that matter. So as mentioned by Ibn Qayyim rahimahullah, كانوا سلف من الصحابة والتابعين يكرهون التصرف في الفتاوى. That Ibn Qayyim rahimahullah mentioned the Sahaba, that the Sahaba and the Tabi'een, that they dislike being hasty in passing fatwa. So they prefer another person pass the matter to a next, and they will kind of somewhat direct the question to someone else among the Sahaba, because they were not hasty and quick in passing fatwa. So they will kind of somewhat direct the person to someone else, open that rather than themselves giving fatwa. So showing that they were not hasty in passing out fatwa. And also the Sahaba iksar min mashawar, regarding concerning mashawara, regarding concerning consulting between themselves regarding matters concerning al-Islam. So that was a matter that was concerning al-mashura between themselves, that they also, in many occasions, that they will use this regarding matters that arise, and they want to find a solution or to look at the matter before passing, that they will give a fatwa after they have consulted amongst each other. After consulting and gathering those people of fatwa, or the people of the ulama amongst the Sahaba, or those who are specialized on that matter. So those are things that concern the Sahaba that were very keen regarding those. Also, they were very keen regarding ijtihad and masail lati abata al-sharia. Also, they kind of somewhat abata al-sharia, try to avoid matters that were not praiseworthy in the sharia. So asking question that there's no action that came from it. So matters that we found is also asking question going into matters that there's no fruit from those matters. They try to avoid those things. So matters where there's no fruits, there's no benefit to come from those matters, they try to avoid those things. So those things that there's those things that no fruits, no benefit to come from that, no action to gain from those things, that also they avoid those matters. Also regarding concerning that question that were asked regarding ways of istihza of the deen, they avoid those matters. So when people ask a matter somewhat to make a mockery of the deen or try to belittle deen, that they all not give attention to those things, not give attention to those matters. Also, matter the person want to go a little bit over the top. Matter the person start to go over the top. Also, they will avoid those type of matters. So people ask us, as in the practice of Bani Israel, regarding concerning a matter regarding Al-Baqarah. Well, as I mentioned them, tadbahu Baqarah. We mentioned, Inna Allah ya'murukum an tadbahu Baqarah. As we mentioned, they should slaughter a cow. They start to go into what color, what this, what that, and go into all of these things. So, complicating the matter, the Sahaba avoid these type of complication regarding matters. And also regarding matters regarding of the unseen, that they also try to avoid those things regarding concerning matter of the unseen. That's very difficult. That they try of the unseen. That is not. They avoid those matters also regarding some of the matters regarding things of the unseen. And also matter concerns now that al-waswas from the shaitan, it comes by way of waswas the shaitan. Also they try to avoid of those matters. And matter did not occur. And matters also that did not occur. They try to deal with matter with more practical things that were occurring and facing the people. Not matter that people can somewhat try to did not per se exist. And people try to assume these type of case. Then they try to avoid these type of things among the Sahaba. So with this, the Sahaba can somewhat they were very focused regarding dealing with matters that need to be dealt with. And also with this, the Sahaba, first to understand the Sahaba rata anhum, that they have a certain maqam regarding al-fiqh, based upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala praised them, and also the Prophet Islam have praised them. And in terms of praise them by way of concerning that their practice of Islam, their dedication to Islam, and also second regarding their understanding of Islam. So regarding concerning those matters regarding that their understanding of Islam, that Abdullah ibn Mas'ud anhu قال أولئك أصحاب Muhammad, that he mentioned أولئك أصحاب Muhammad, that these are the companions of the Prophet of Muhammad alayhi salam. كانوا أفضل هذه أمة, that they are the most virtuous from this ummah. أبرها قلوبا, and they have the most purest of heart. وأعمقها علما, and also that the people have the most correct understanding, أقلها تكلفا, and also the people that didn't go over the top regarding matters. Those people, the least of the people to going over the top regarding matters. They mention اختارهم الله لصحبة نبيه, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have chosen them to be the companions of the Prophet alayhi salam. لإقامة دينه, and for them to establish the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I mention أعرفوا لهم فضلهم, that you should know of their virtues. اتبعوهم على آثارهم, and you should follow their ways, to the end of that statement of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud ta'ala anhu. So it just shows highlighting the virtue of the Sahaba regarding that their place, their virtue, and also the understanding of Islam, and that they were not people who go over the top. They were not people who go over the top on matters. So that's concerning those matters for one to be mindful of regarding. So that's concerning the Prophet mentioned the hadith concerning, as we mentioned, hadith of Ibad and Sariya, alaykum bi sunnati wa sunnati al-khulafa al-rashidin al-mahdiyyin. So, hold to my sunnah and also the way of the khulafa al-rashid, the rightly guided khulafa. So it shows that they have a status and a place amongst that given to them by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and given to them by the Prophet alayhi salam. So we should know their status and value their status, and also try to follow the principle that they were upon regarding how they approach concerning fiqh al-Islami. As for regarding concerning the source that reference sources regarding knowing concerning the aqwal of the Sahaba. So regarding concerning the fatwa and the views of the Sahaba, where some of concerning matters concerning that it could be in general regarding matters in general regarding aqidah, aqadiyya, or matters concerning ahkam shar'iyya. So we have different sources that have gathered and have gathered or have collected regarding the fatwa of the Sahaba or the aqwal of the Sahaba. So you have many sources that are there. So of those sources that we can find the aqwal of the Sahaba, we have, for example, Al-Muwatta of Imam Malik, rahimahullah, the book Al-Muwatta of Imam Malik. So of those things that he collected was also of those things he collected concerning the aqwal of the Sahaba. So you find some mention of aqwal of the Sahaba in that particular book. Also of fiqh of the Sahaba, we can find the book of At-Tirmidhi. So At-Tirmidhi, rahimahullah, at times will mention some of the aqwal of the Sahaba in his book. So At-Tirmidhi, in his book Al-Jami al-Kabir, that also he will mention the views of the Sahaba in that particular book. Other sources that are, we mentioned other sources, Al-Musannif Abdul Razak. So Al-Musannif li Abdul Razak As-San'ani, that also mention lots of the aqwal, mention lots of the aqwal of the Sahaba. Also another source, Al-Musannif Ibn Abi Shaybah. So these sources mention a lot of the aqwal of the Sahaba regarding ahkam shar'iyya. And other sources, the book Awsat fi Sunan wal Ijma' wal Ikhtilaf by Ibn Munzir, who died 319, that also collected of the aqwal of the Sahaba regarding ahkam shar'iyya. And other sources, the book Al-Mahalla li Ibn Hazm, the book Al-Mahalla li Ibn Hazm, who died 456 Al-Hijri, and also Sunan Al-Kabir by Al-Bayhaqi. So Sunan Al-Kabir by Bayhaqi also, who died 458 by Al-Bayhaqi also, gather lots of sources. And you have other sources. So those are some of those sources that one can refer back to regarding aqwal of the Sahaba. And you have other sources, and those one we mentioned are sources that are musnada, those sources that they mention aqwal of the Sahaba with isnad. Khilafiyat lil-Bayhaqi also, and other books that one can find regarding going back to concerning source regarding ahkam al-fiqhiyya. So I mentioned the Muwatta, Musannif Abdul Razak, Musannif Ibn Abi Shaybah, also الأوسط والسنن لابن منذر, المحلى لابن حزم, السنن الكبير للبيهقي, والخلافيات by al-Bayhaqi also. So those are the sources, and most of those sources are musnada. So that's concerning those matters that relates to the Ahad al-Sahaba. So their thing was to more to explain regarding the Sharia and its application, as we had mentioned. So the Sahaba said it was an extension of the time of Nubuwah, where more they emphasized more explaining the text of the Quran, the Sunnah, and also ijtihad. They extend more concerning ijtihad regarding certain masail that were not mentioned in the Quran, the Sunnah. Also the use of each they start to apply concerning al-ijma, where they will gather on a particular matter by gathering each other and consulting amongst each other. Then they will come with one final ruling based upon what was agreed upon by all. So that become a part of the ijma. So that's concerning those matters that relates to Tariq al-Fiqh regarding the time of the Sahaba anhum. So that inshallah ta'ala will now so that's concerning that we'll end this session, and inshallah ta'ala the next session we'll discuss concerning what comes after, which is the time of the tabi'een, the time of the tabi'een. So that inshallah ta'ala we continue next. وبالله تعالى توفيق وهادي الى السبيل والآخر دعوانا الحمد لله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.